I was originally planning on doing this the weekend that the Snyder Cut was released, but the Snyder Cut was released, so I ended up doing a video on that instead. Anyway, this video won't be long because the show itself isn't really complex, but I just want to give my quick thoughts on the show as a whole and season 3 as well. So let's get it. Now, prior to watching this show, I thought it would have taken place well before the events of Jurassic World, but it didn't. It actually ran parallel. It's kind of like the last season of Clone Wars, how it took place during the events of Episode 3, but at the same time it was showing like what was happening on the side at the same time. But I thought it would have taken place before that to see, what would have happened before everything became chaotic. But no, it took place literally right before the events of Jurassic World. At least that's where it starts, and then the story there just runs parallel to that. I didn't really expect much from this show because, seeing that it was animated, I assumed immediately it's going to be for families. It's going to be made for children's eyes. It's not going to be gory. It's not going to be bloody. It's not going to be like any of the movies at all. So if you're going to watch this show and expect any of that, you're wasting your time. You're not going to see any dinosaurs killing anybody gruesomely or anything like that. You're just going to see dinosaurs chasing kids. No kids die in this show. No kids were harmed in the making of this show. So, I mean, if that's what you're into, if you just want to see something that's more realistic, then watch something else, because realistic is not what you're going to get here. Because realistically speaking, 6 children should not be able to survive on this island. They should have been dead from the start, but hey, again, it's a children's show, so the show runs parallel to the events of Jurassic World and then after. So these kids come from all over the country and they come to participate in Camp Cretaceous, which allows them to just speak to the experts, the scientists, see dinosaurs take part in all these activities they wouldn't get to do elsewhere. But that doesn't really happen because if you watch Jurassic World, the Indominus escapes, so they spend all their time surviving, and it's been like that for 3 seasons now. I'm not entirely sure if there's going to be a 4th season. I think so, because the way they left it, even though they got off the island, it kind of seems like there'll be more. It felt a little too easy. So I think there'll be a 4th season, but for now, there's 3 seasons and they spent the entirety of those seasons just trying to get off the island and survive. There's nothing really new to the 3rd season that you don't really get in the other seasons. They're pretty episodic. Every episode is basically, it has its own theme and it's pretty transparent. It's not like other shows where you kind of have to figure it out. It's pretty simple to see like what this episode is about, what lessons these kids will learn, and on top of that, they have to run from dinosaurs. But this season has been no different. There has been character development throughout it all. Kenji personally is my favorite character. He's the comedic relief. He's been my favorite character since episode 1, and he's grown into more of a leader. He's developed more responsibility, and you can see how he's grown closer to these kids, his friends, and he will not tolerate putting their lives in jeopardy for anything, which is a huge step from where he started. But yeah, that is one of the things I love about the show, that even though it's very simple, it's not complex at all, there is character development and there is a story, even if it's not realistic. Again, it's catered to children, so if you're expecting something more realistic, do not watch this. I thought they were gonna have the Indoraptor from Forbidden Kingdom or whatever it's called. I thought they were gonna have the Indoraptor because Dr. Wu was working on something, and I assumed it might have been like some sort of prototype for the Indoraptor or some sort of blueprint for him. But no, it actually ended up being a completely different dinosaur, which I really appreciated because I already saw the Indominus Rex, so I didn't want to see the Indoraptor. I was hoping it'd be something different. It was the Scorpius Rex, which kind of looks like a very ugly version of the Indoraptor. A little taller, has really weird legs, like really scrawny legs, and it has spikes on its back, kind of like what did they say, it was a Scorpius fish, so it's very poisonous, and it basically upsets the balance of the entire island. So that's pretty much what happens in this season. The kids try to survive every episode. They try to find a way off the island, which eventually they did. And again, I'm expecting a 4th season, so I don't think it'll be that easy. The entirety of the season, even though it's pretty episodic and every episode has its own theme and lesson to be learned by any individual character, it's pretty much spent trying to fix the boat that they have. They found it at the end of the last season, and they plan on using it or hope to use it in order to leave the island. But at first they don't have gas, so they have to go look for gas. Then there's a hole in the boat, so they have to patch it up, and then they have to deal with the Scorpius Rex. So like that's pretty much what happens in this entire season. It really wasn't complicated at all. All the characters learned lessons just like every other season. Ben learned how to survive. He learned how to conquer his fears, and then by the end of the season, he learned that he can actually do that in the real world. He doesn't have to stay on the island to be that guy. Kenji learned how to be a leader, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Because Yaz was just Yaz, Brooklyn was Brooklyn, and Sammy was Sammy. I guess they learned how to care for each other more and watch each other's back, because the Scorpius Rex actually put them in jeopardy to where they actually had to go out of their way to do something that they never had to do before. Because like I said, kids don't get hurt in this show, but in this season Sammy gets poisoned, so they all have to come together, try to figure out a way to save her life, which realistically again they shouldn't have been able to do with the Scorpius Rex on the loose, and it actually caught up to them, but as usual, never catches up to them because you can't hurt any kids. No kids were harmed in the making of this show. But yeah, those are my thoughts for the show. It's a pretty good show as long as you're not going into it expecting anything realistic, anything complex, anything that's gonna keep you sucked in for an hour or so. Their episodes are only 30 minutes long. It doesn't require a lot of focus, so you can do chores around the house and still watch the show. So if you're good with that, it's a great show. If you want something with a little more depth, if you want something like that, this is not the show for you. But anyway, those are my thoughts. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video, which should be next Friday. And I will catch you guys then. Bye bye.